Hey guys, welcome to Barz. My name's Stan, and today we've got a couple ovens here on the bench. They're both Hotshots. On your far right, that's a Hotshot by Barz Industrial, which I know you guys have all seen before. But on the left, we've got a Hotshot by American Rotary. They're the ones that took over my manufacturing for me, because I just knew I wasn't going to be able to keep up, and so it was kind of a win-win. I got a monkey off of my back, and they picked up a new product line. The name of their new company is the Hotshot Oven and Kiln Company. So pretty cool. They adopted the name. I always loved the name Hotshot when associated with an oven. So it was a cool name, and they kind of ran with it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get in a little closer and take a look at these ovens, the difference between the Barz Hotshot and the American Rotary designed Hotshot, and see what the Hotshot Oven and Kiln Company came up with. You know, there's some improvements, there's some similarities, there's some changes. You know, there's a lot of things that they did, and they're all pretty cool. I'm real happy with the way they turned out and how they took my basic design and just kind of ran with it. So real excited about it, and I want to bring you guys in and give you a closer look. But first, I do want to mention they've got an introductory price of $849. You'll be buying directly from Barz. Barz is going to provide sales and service here on the West Coast for the Hotshot Oven Company. And we're going to, if you damage your oven, if it's physically damaged, if it falls off a bench top and you bend it, break it, damage it in any way, I can fix it. If you're doing a voltage change, a control upgrade, you know, whatever you need to do to your oven, I'm here for support, as well as supporting all the ovens that I put out. You know, all the Barz ovens are automatic, come to me, but the the ones from American Rotary, the Hotshot Oven Company, are going to come to me as well for sales and service. All right. I'd like to thank everyone that's been so patient through all this. It's been a long transition, and we first announced it during the Barz Summer Bash a couple months ago, back in June. We announced it, but we weren't ready to fill orders in. We did some pre-sales and did a few things, but we weren't able to you know, fulfill any orders. So we are just now able to fulfill orders. I'm taking delivery on 50 ovens by the end of this month, and we should be able to get you guys some ovens out the first couple weeks of September, and you can get these things in your hands. But so far what I've seen, everything looks really good. All right, so let's dig into it a little deeper. Let's check these things out and see what the differences are between the Barz Hotshot and the Hotshot Oven and Kiln Company. Okay, well, the first thing you're going to notice about the Barz Hotshot is it's all stainless steel construction, and it wasn't just for beauty. This oven runs very hot on the outside, as a barbecue or a kiln or any other a hot box would, you know. So I never gave it a second thought about the outside temperatures running high. That was just the nature of the beast. As a result, I had to fan cool the control panel only. So we've got the Novus controller, which is a fully programmable controller, control power and heat enable are your only two switches, and then we have an alarm down here. And then I used a ball type latch right here, which is it's basically two balls with two springs that put tension on a little pin right here. Integrated into that, I put a connecting rod for a door limit switch, so it would kill the heating element and basically drop out the SSR whenever you open the door. Okay, so that was came standard after my first few production runs. I didn't want someone going in there with a pair of tongs and crossing up left and right and either electrocuting themselves or burning out the element or doing anything like that. So metal objects going into this oven are very common, so a door limit switch was kind of a natural. All right, but ball latch was always problematic, but I liked the way it looked. It was sleek, and it you know, it had some sex to it. But the stainless steel construction wasn't just for looks. It was to take the heat. There's no way I could powder coat these things because the outside temperatures would re-gel the powder. and paint was out of the question too. So 304 stainless construction is what I chose. And like I say, with the fan is thermostatically controlled, so when the oven comes up on temperature, the fan would automatically start. And the reason for that is when you're done with your cycle and you want to shut down, you just hit your control power and walk away, and the oven will shut down, and then the fan will continue to run until it's cooled, and then the fan turns itself off. So you come back the next day and the oven's just sitting there idle, not doing anything. All right, so that's why the fan was thermostatically controlled just for the control cabinet. So those are the features I built into it over the years that I built these things. Let's switch over to the American rotary version and see what that's all about. Okay, so here we are with the Hotshot Oven Company's Hotshot, and first thing you're going to notice is it's physically larger. I actually had to move the camera back to get the whole thing in there. This size is roughly the same size as a 1200 of Barz's design. So, and I'm going to show you why it's bigger. First thing you're going to notice is, yes, it is powder coated. So we were able to get away from the stainless, which saves cost. But we had to put the cost right back into it for the inner. You're going to notice it's a new door latch. The ball type latches that I used on the Barz ovens were always problematic. Some of you guys out there probably know that you had to struggle with the latch, and I put out some emails on how to dial those in and work with them. This is a much more forgiving latch, and actually I'll zoom you in on it, and let's take a closer look at that latch. Okay, well, it's still a one-handed use. You still have to put one hand on it, but you just lift. It's got a place for your thumb. It's got an indexing peg right there, so as you close it, it's got a male and female indexing groove. So as you close it, it forces that door into alignment no matter what kind of table you put this thing on. If you put it on a table that's twisted, or the whole oven shell's out of square by sitting on an uneven surface, it's going to force that door up into alignment. And I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but there's a little click in there, and they've got their door limit switch right here. Same function, but a little different design. Clever. All right, so the door latch is good. It uses a little brass rod here that spins, and a self-locking nut right there. But that's going to, it's very repeatable. It's very one-handed, which is important. You know, you have to be able to operate your oven door with one hand, because you got pliers or tongs in one hand, and you're dealing with hot parts, and you don't want to have to fuss with the door latch. So this is good for lefties or righties. I'm a lefty when it comes to the door, so I'd come in with my left hand, I'd open this up, and in my right I'd have my tongs ready, and I'd be going in and grabbing my parts. So that is the new door latch setup. Next thing you're going to notice when you open this thing up is that we're double walled. So there's an inner oven, and this here is the same size as a Barz oven, but they've added an air gap out here to the exterior of the oven, and they're moving air across the entire oven shell and cooling it. And when it comes to heating, air gaps are king. And if you can move a little bit of air through there, it helps cool the exterior of your unit. I've been in industrial heating for years, and if there's room for it, leave an air gap. It helps. An air gap with air moving through it is a wonderful insulator, and it keeps your exterior temperatures down. Now over here they've got a door within a door and an oven within an oven, so they're basically building two ovens. So there's some value there. You know, this was a lot to design. I have this argon kit is kind of aftermarket, if you will. It's the one I prototyped. If you look back at my older videos, I did install an argon kit on this and do some argon testing with the American rotary version. But there's an air gap behind the door here, air gap across the top, both sides, the back, and actually the bottom. So there's an air gap, and there's a very specific set of louvers in various places on this oven, so it draws its replacement air in from various areas. Over in the controller, there's air louvers, In the oven shell, there's air louvers, and in the door, there's air louvers. So there's places for the air to get in various places. The oven's in the back over here. I'm going to turn it around and show you that here in a little bit. And it's thermostatically controlled. When the oven comes up on temp, that fan kicks and she's cooling, and it doesn't matter what you're doing with the control switch. If you're done with your heating cycles and the thing, you know, it's giving you an end of cycle alarm, shut it off, walk away. Okay, so that's very similar the way it operates to the Barz ovens. Okay, let's spin it around and take a look at some of the other features. But interior dimensions, the same, 6 by 6 by 10, same as the Barz oven. And like I said, this one's got an argon kit on it, so it's not. This is not what you're getting. You're getting the 360 with no argon, but we're working with American Rotary and getting an argon kit ready that's going to be easy to retrofit in the field. So control box, slant top control, easy to view, nice big switches that are easy to operate with gloves on. Usually when I'm doing heat treating, I don't want to touch this keypad on this Novus controller because you just can't do it with some heavy gloves on. So nice big paddle switches that work for operation with your PPE on. Here you can see some of the cooling vents here and here. They've also added, behind this plate is a high limit switch, which is actually a good thing. The high limit switch, if this outer oven shell ever goes past 120 degrees, it's going to trip this. There's a disc switch in here. It's going to turn off the SSR and kill the heating element. So if you have a fan failure, the oven's still protected. It's not going to burn itself up. So that's new. That's a wonderful addition. In the back of the controller, we've got an aluminum heatsink for the SSR. And we've got cooling holes underneath. You can't see those, but there's some cooling holes there. In the rear of the unit, you'll see the actual cooling fan, which, like I said before, is thermostatically controlled and it blows out. So when you set this thing up on your bench, you can't put it right next to a wall. You have to leave it spaced away from a wall. I would say at least 3 or 4 inches to let this fan breathe. If you were to put it up tight to a wall, it would kill the airflow. So make sure you, when you install this in your shop, make sure you leave ample room behind it for air movement. And what they've also done, let me get this thing turned around. They've elevated it off your bench top, so your bench top's not even going to get hot. So for this thing to sit on a wooden bench wouldn't be any big deal operationally. As you remove your parts, if you have molten metals coming out of there and you spill them on a wooden bench top, you're going to be in trouble. Personally, I'm still going to recommend a steel top bench. Okay, so it's still, the American Rotary version still uses the Novus 480D. And this is the one that unplugs from the base, as I've shown a million times on my channel. But what they're adding, and it's not on this one, they're going to be adding a USB port on the outside. So you can program the Novus directly from the USB port. Bring your laptop over to the oven or take your oven over to the laptop, doesn't matter. But you can plug in and flash program your 9 segments, which is very time consuming to do with the keypad, because it's like your alarm clock at home. You're using the up and down arrow keys trying to set values when you can just quickly type them in on your computer. But they are going to offer a USB port. The signal alarm, you'll notice there's no signal alarm here. It's inside. It's audible only. So it's only an audible alarm, not a visual, which is fine as long as it's loud enough. The thing with the alarm, it's a programmable alarm that's going to signal you end of cycle. So if you're across the shop, you've got a 2-hour cycle going in the oven, and you want it to signal you, you need it to be loud enough so that you're across the shop, you've forgotten everything that's going on in the oven. You don't have to remember it. The alarm goes off and you say, okay, it's time to go pull my parts and quench them. So all you need to do is really hear it. So they are providing an audible alarm within the within the control box, no visual. Okay, so here's a better view of the double skins. Inner oven, 304 stainless, outer oven, powder coated steel. You can probably catch a glimpse of the cooling fan in the back. So that entire area is a cavity that the air flows through. And it's still the same 6 by 6 by 10 working chamber that the Barz Hotshot had. And it performs identically. I did some side-by-side tests, some ramps up, some ramp up, some ramp down, and some soak times, and the American rotary oven works really, really well. Okay, and I do like this new door closure. Okay guys, I appreciate everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed going through both ovens and seeing what the differences were and what the similarities were, and how they've evolved over the years. Now they've got the 1200 that is on the prototype bench right now. I am going to say a word about the argon. This oven has an argon kit on it that is just a prototype that Barz did. It's not approved by American Rotary yet, but argon kits are coming for both 1200 and 360. But the 1200s are next. The 360 duplex is directly after the 1200, and then they're probably going to come up with an evolution after that. So there are some they are going to go after the entire Barz product line, and probably some new ones too. Come up with some new designs based on customer needs, you know, feedback. They need feedback. You know, if you've got a request for a particular size oven, they listen. I listen. All right. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate everyone's patience during this whole transition. It's been long, but finally we were able to get our hands on ovens and get them out there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.